Hello. 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 Lmayo. We'll be live in 60 seconds. If you're here for the TA, you're on the right train. We have just arrived at station point 236. You may know this station as Recovery Station 1. And you may thank our drivers, the Plunge Protection Team, there's the 618 retrace. Here's the Fibonacci of this move down. Here's the 236 station where we are at the minute. Here's the little touch on the DMI. And here's your volatility starting to kick off. If this Fibonacci proves to be the new dominant one over the next period of time, we can expect an open and close on this 4 hour to turn into a move taking us up to the 618, which is at 216.22. And if we can open and close above there, our targets will be back up at 266 to 277. Same place. We were always going, boss. You were right. The same place we were always going, boss. Where are the 3 targets on that move? This 236 we're at the minute. May take a while. We've got lots going on here. But once we've got this in the bag, then we're aiming for here. After which we're aiming for here. So 191.31, 217.50, then 275. Choo choo. Whoa, upgraded membership to Spider Monkey. Who did that? How do I find that? Mike! No, Mike became a member. I missed it. It was just before it, and I don't see the name. Where is that? I can read it if I... It's Frostcrest. Oh my goodness, Frostcrest. You'll also see we touched the bottom of our channel here. Here's the top of our channel. It's up at the 382. Previous level of resistance happens to come in at around the 0.5. 618 on that move is obviously up at, again, a level of horizontal resistance. So these are the steps. They might seem obvious now. And for those of you who didn't see them before, you're welcome. Daniel Assange, $5. Oh, a lucky fiver. Yay! Thanks very much, Daniel. Prices never really go very far when I'm actually streaming live, unless I'm actually talking about it exactly where they're going. So I suppose these lucky fivers are working. Something's working anyway. Something is working. Dead Money All Stars. Welcome to Chimp. Dead Money. I'm Bright Spark. You're a legend to me. Thank you. Bing bong, the price is wrong. Bing bong, the price is wrong. So I'm acting like things are yet to start, but I mean, we've gone into the charts. Right back towers. Come into the Thank you so much, Dead Money All Stars, for everything. Thank you so much, Bright Spark. And continue on your quest.
I'm just curious. I saw you shuffling your checks with your right hand. Can you do that with both hands?
No. Be a man, don't be a fucking pimp.
Chris K, thanks. D. Archer, thank you. You can prove anything with facts, can't you? Yes. It's like this. Jay's become a member. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Welcome to here's your headband. For all members, if your headband turns red, at some stage it will. Boom, pull. Doom, doom, doom. Boom, boom.
Sorry.
Sorry.
The voice.
So yeah, that thank you very much, Paul. That is very much appreciated. Everybody's been very generous. Thank you so
I'm
much.
just curious. I saw you shuffling your checks with your right hand.
This is
Can you
like
do that with both hands?
Be a man, don't be a
Jeez.
fucking pimp.
Right, what am I going to do here? I'm going to have to do something to add to the Right, I'm going to have to set this. Oh my goodness, Campisi. Jeez, that's a huge donation. Oh my goodness. I haven't even technically got started yet.
Sorry. The voices.
Epiphany, that's a very huge donation. Thank you. I mean, that's a very generous donation. The one before, that's a very huge donation. Thank you so much for the generosity. It means the world. It's a very.
That's how it's done.
That's a huge, that one from Campisi. And Epiphany, I love you. You're so good. Thanks. Dan Weldo, welcome to Chimp. Nice one. Yes, also a headband, right? So with the headbands, everyone's being so very generous, and I love it. Thanks so much, right? The headbands you got there, when you become a member, they change colour after each month. They get like,
Sorry.
they go from different colours, and that goes all the way up to red. And when you've got the red headband on your little chimpy face, then you'll have lasted 6 months as a member, which is, according to some estimates, the amount of time it takes for 94% of people to have their accounts wiped out. So if you're still here after six months and you've got a red headband on, then you'll have survived. 94% of people will have come and gone before you. So well done, congratulations, and thanks so much for joining. And I know that some people were doing very generous and joining and might not make it that long, and I still love you all. Thanks so much. Rob Ty, thanks for being you.
Man, don't be a fucking
Yeah, good pair, that one. Looking in the mirror. Thanks so much. It's really appreciated. Right, I should go live. When I say that, I am live. And what I mean is I should go to the live scene, and then I could set that up there. Where is that? That's by clicking this button. Hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Jamie Curran. This is Tradespotting. We cover various ways to trade, usually involving the trend, which I'll touch on later. We focus heavily on GME at the minute because, well, it's the one true cause. And we've got, it's like loads of people in chat being really generous. Thank you so much. I was going to start a clip there and record it for doing the TA straight away, but I can imagine that won't work exactly like that. So I'll stop this. I'll say thanks, and then, well, no, that'll not work because it'll just keep happening, won't it? Right. So I'll just do the TA. I'll make a clip out of it so that people can see that, and then chat and talk about why I think what's going down is going down, and expand on the technical analysis. But let's just get a clip out there for the folks that rely on it or appreciate it, whatever. Find it. For the folks that find it, there's true. Wow, another donation. Grow like the wind, $5. Much love, Jimmy and Rocky, our treasures. You guys are the treasures. You guys are the treasures. Thanks for being you. Rob Ty, thank you so much. And Coven Keeper. Nice one. Thank you, Coven Keeper. Welcome to Chimp. It's really appreciated. Yeah, so when you get the headband 6 months, etc. Yeah, and the TA, I was going to do it, and I'll do that right. I'll do this for the people who find it. Sugar, push the button, Jamie. You can do this. You can do this. You do this all the time. You can do this, Jamie. You got this. Just do it. Leslie Wright, $10. Happy hug. Thanks, that's appreciated. Right. Boom bong, price is wrong. Right.
I need a volunteer. That's how it's done.
That is how it's done. I'm Jamie. Welcome to Tradespotting. We're going to cover the TA on GME like we always do. This is a clip for those who find it. Thanks for stopping by. If you hit like, it's appreciated. The technical analysis for GME for today is, well, if you're wondering about the dips, Lmayo, on the 4 hour we came down, we touched the 200 period moving average, as we thought we might do. That comes in at the 618 of the retrace of this move up here, which was at the time and still to a certain degree looks like a cup and handle. And in the analysis of that cup and handle, we suggested that it was possible with this asset, the way it behaves, that since it had broken the 236, that the target on this cup and handle for a re-entry for really patient people was the 618. And others might have said, no, the furthest you'll get is a 50%. So a lot of orders came in here, and we had a lot of relatively for this period. That's where your volume comes in at, and with regards to price points rather than on your x-axis. And so we moved down. It was just at the bottom of this channel. We touched the 200 period moving average on the 4 hour, which is you're likely to do in any sort of a bull trend. A retest of the 200 is very healthy and usually leads to a bounce. For example, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, and now this is the 5th one. What happens on those? Well, they've all tended to recover, sometimes spectacular amounts. Let's quickly check on those sort of things. Like this was the first move up, so we'll not count that one. This lagging indicator, you could potentially use that. We'll not bother. Obviously, that one's so huge it'll be out of the realm of comparison. So we'll say here, the recovery from that was 100% price move. The recovery from this one, let's say that one we'll use, it was 80% recovery in price. This one, obviously, we'll take this to be above the standard deviation at 800%. We'll not use that for comparison, but you could certainly use this one. Went up 144%. I mean, these are just the quick looking at it, right? So you take a median of those and add it on, and you'll see like where do we end up in a while. And Lmayo, so that's the 200 period moving average in the 4 hour. It's commonly tested in a bull trend. So this is a bullish retest. What's my opinion? My opinion is that that's what it's done. I don't really have an opinion over and above that, but I will give you my idea of what I expect to be the path of least resistance. On this move here, I'll just draw this Fibonacci out for you so that you've got it. If this is the first time you're seeing me, you'll know how I construct these sort of lines and whatnot and draw these magic drawings. On this move up here, which is the cup and handle, cup with handle, jeez, I'm doing it again, up here, from the low of our saucer, or well, the low of our cup, comes in here at around $115, and we took that move, and it went all the way up to 337. At that point, you did a retrace. It went beyond the 236, and we predicted that you'd come in at the 618. That happens to be also where this channel would take you on the downside. This is the demand line that we've been experiencing since this move, this correction, this retest, this however you want to describe it. And we've touched the 200 period moving average, and as I say, that's all sensible places, and all sensible analysis would be still considered to be bullish. So it's 4 hours, so on that time frame, you know, that could describe that as a medium-term time frame. So that's the price action with the Fibonacci's, and it's where we come down to, and you could expect prices to get to or in and around. Since that, if that was the low, what you'd want to be able to say is that on this Fibonacci here, on this move down from, say, around there to the low, which comes in as we see the 618 over here, you'd say you want to recover this and be able to determine this to be a low if we can get an opening close above the 236 that on this Fibonacci on the way down, this retracement, and that comes in at around $192. So if we can open and close the subsequent 4 hour here, people would say that that might be a low. They'd be looking at indicators and seeing if there was a divergence on them or if it was convergent, or they'd be looking at volume and trying to see if there was a distinct change in that from the trend to confirm that this move was got extra legs on it. As it is what we predicted would be the maximum move that you could expect on a short. The risk reward didn't really offer up much more. It also looked like a good re-entry for large accounts, and I hope that people that did have the patience and think that that was a good decision, I think that you'll have done well there, and anybody up at this area will be hoping that the 4 hour opening close comes in around those levels. So, so when I say hoping, it's only in around the basis line of this channel. It's not asking for much. We're already up here at the 236, and to see that it could be sustained, it would be positive, because we've not really had a significant confirmation of it on the ADX. Here we can see is only just starting to pick up, while our DI minus has not made it above the 38. So the strength of trend here isn't yet confirmed, and in the background you've got this flash of volatility that is upcoming, and so in that sense, you know, any sort of confirmation or rejection of this move could lead to quick moves to the upside, and these are the targets you're looking for. If you get through the 236 and hold it, you'll probably go to the 618. That's the signature of this thing. It's how it's traded. And since this move here, when our break through the 236 took us to the 0.5 Fibonacci, we then moved up, and since this cup and handle's been forming, it's been a series of W bottoms with cups with handles and 236 to 618 retraces, and that's the nature of the way this is being traded by those who are trading it. And so here's the 236. If that confirmation comes in, you can expect something up at the 618. Those are all Fibonacci sequences, and this level you're looking at then from the first one is 190, as I said, 191, 192. It's obviously a zone, not a firm line. Up at 218 is your 618. That would be a totally natural move. At that point you would be able to say, have we changed direction from what this channel trajectory, and we would have to again look for opening closes on medium to long term time frames to confirm that. If you did, and this Fibonacci then went on to provide extensions where you could extrapolate price targets that you would hope to see in some future move, because of continuation of this trend, you would look back up and you'd say that, well, it's probably coming in around the 127 to the 1414 and 1618. And if you look over here to the left, you can see that all of these Fibonacci sequences, they all have given us dollar targets which are confluent with previous levels of support and resistance on this significant time frame that we've gone through in the not that distant past, and some of them more recently than others, which means that they're significant. So at those points, seeing tests and breaks of those levels would be very, very strong, especially with confirmation, and then how that would market participants would respond with regards to having had this dip. So that's the brief explanation of how you would construct a little bit of scaffolding around this price action, which would help you identify steps ahead. And these are reliable indicators, just looking at price action and EMAs, and with a tiny touch of analysis using Rocket Group's DMI. And then you also had confirmation of the signal that we were talking about here. Things are really starting to kick off in the 4 hour. Let's flip this scale to the right. So you can see that these things are all starting to hit other levels, having got to the historic lows. It's all coming in around the same sort of time as these signals on the DMI. So things are really starting to pick up, so it's really interesting. It's also great to see how things respond, and if this level holds in around here, waiting candle countdown here. We've got 47 minutes. Do I expect it to do it right now? Well, I expect there to be a little bit of a fight for this area and subsequently up at this one, which is why I've marked them out on the charts with slightly different lines. And the targets at the top here, you know, you don't need to be emotional about the price action in any given moment. It would probably affect your trading, but being aware of these things and thinking about them as targets that you can then confirm your own thinking with, that's a sensible way of trading, right? Even if you are just holding, it is good to know what's going on with the asset, especially if you're out there worried about things, because you do tend to hear price action moving. And when people say, oh, that's a big dip, you know, how much did you move on that? Well, you can see that the same people will get extremely excited by test of the 200 and its reaction afterwards, as we did when we did the measurement of it here. And just to continue that idea of like doing the measurement of things. If you're looking at the DMI here and you're thinking, what does that tell us with the HPV, and how does that work with these ideas of like price reactions to things? Well, also on tests of the 200, when you're getting this signal going off on the HPV, you can look at how prices move from breaking various horizontals. So say this one coming in, what's the price move off this? Say this is that first one we tested as a Fibonacci. Whoops. As a move off it. Where is this? Tested this move, which we suggested was like it's something similar to a test of the 200 period on this 4 hour, and said it was that sort of move up like 100%. Yeah, that sort of area. Oops. And if that's the sort of thing you can expect, then those sort of targets we were talking about here aren't all that crazy, and the further extensions of the same Fibonacci are again confluent with things that we've talked about before. You know, all of these different Fibonaccis, when you add the targets on them all up together and you see so many of these things come together at the same places, it does it doesn't necessarily give you a time frame for when things are going to happen. It does outline a path of least resistance, and that's the sort of thing that you might want to focus on instead of being emotional about price action when things go like moves that people say like, oh, this is a big move down here, let's measure it from that top of this sort of area of this thing here, and you've come down. People will be scared because over the past while it's dropped 27%, and they think that you know, that's fair enough. It's totally natural that would cause a degree of anxiety among certain market participants, and it's also the sort of thing that the news would then pick up on, talk about, and so it would increase this feeling. And it would just be unfortunate if it happened to be that affected your trading to the point that you made a bad decision, when the technical analysis might suggest that this would be a good entry point. And why might that be on the technical analysis? Well, because the people who are pushing this down, they're a very select group of market participants. And if you look at the option chain, you might think, well, if it expires below $200, then on this particular date, perhaps that would be particularly beneficial for this particular group because of certain issues with their collateral and their overall portfolio. So maybe it would be to their advantage to make it look like prices were dropping, and if they were also, let's speculate here, entirely speculating, they were somehow well practiced in manipulating the media, especially the mainstream media, it might well be that today was a good day for them to try and cause this market anxiety. It might be that they thought people were looking at some sort of descending triangle, and that, you know, oh, this will spook traders, even those technical analysts who have a rudimentary understanding, and that's totally understandable. It also looked like if you were like a paper-handed biatch and you don't understand the concept of what the apes are trying to do, perhaps you were looking for a short move, and that's the most you're ever expecting to get off it, as the technical analysis tells us and has told us. And you can go back and check other videos. We've got these sort of things every day. So that's the long and the short of it. Does it turn out to be a good entry? Well, if these Fibonacci levels and these horizontal levels of support and resistance do tend to drive us on one to the next, if that proves to be true, then these are the sort of areas that people wait for, you know, large accounts that are very patient. And similarly, many of these people in this audience, I hope that were waiting got their orders. So that's the TA, folks. Thanks very much for tuning in. As I say, like goes a long way. Thanks very much if you click it, tap it. And if you ever want to tune in to another live show, or this one, if you catch this video, hi, I'll see you there. Bye. Right. I think I did that. There's some mumble TA for those that find it. I suppose I could upload that clip, but if anyone turns up in the next 15 minutes before I can bother doing any of that stuff, I can just tell them to rewind. So that was great. Yeah, everybody had a funny experience earlier, so I was quite emotional. Getting your head back in the game after that to do the technical analysis is different. Oh my god, that was a bit of a terrible drink of coffee. Jeepers. What did I want to do here? Move this over so I could see what people are saying again. And then get up some questions. Has there been questions? What have people been saying? Lazily right, super chat to tenor. Super chat, Coven Keeper became member. Thanks, Yeller. 35 subscribed. Cool. I've got those. Excellent. And we are the treasure before. Awesome. So that's that. You got your coffee too. Did you just drink a big horrible chunk of it like I did? Yeah, so that's it. Like, and if you want to ask me any questions about this sort of thing, or if you do want to talk about technical analysis, happy to cover that sort of thing now. And then people perhaps who tune in later and choose to watch the longer version of the TA with this stuff included will get an expanded version of things. Essentially, my thesis on this is that 4 hours like a good medium-term measurement of the trend, and technical analysis is trend, volatility, volume.
That's how it's done.
Pow.
Who's next?
Pow, pow. Trend, volatility, volume, and momentum. And so, like, perhaps if you do it as I do, you're looking at the trend as the ultimate judge of how you trade, right? You want to trade with the trend. Yeah. I assume that you understand this much, right? You want to trade with the trend. So if you turn that into a science, like, where is the trend? And this common expression is, the trend is your friend. So you look to your friend, especially when you're wondering, like, what's up, yo? I'm not sure what's up. You might look to your friend and say, yo, what's up, mate? And the extent of my internet ambitions are to be your internet buddy. So if you're asking me, I'd say, well, I'll check in with the trend. That would be my first port of call. On the trend, I'd slowly go to the 4 hour and I'd look at the 200 period moving average, simple moving average. Right, keep it simple, sexy, KISS. Right, let's keep it simple, sexy. This is this brand of TA, right? Some people call it porridge, and that's cool, right? I think of it as keep it simple, sexy. And a test of the 200 period on the 4 hour.
I saw you shuffling your checks with your right hand. Can you do that with both hands?
It's funny, I'm left-handed. So down here there was a 200 period moving average, and we touched it. That's simple, keep it simple. That's the simple part. The sexy part is the what happens afterwards, right? And within this channel, you've got a basis line. It comes in around the middle of it. Turn on the Bollinger Bands and go drop down. You could see more about it. Turn it on here and you'll see. In and around the basis line of our Bollinger Bands is a similar level to the middle of this channel. So that's why it's a significant level for that reason alone. But also it happens to be the Bollinger Band, which is at your moving average, and another way of measuring it. And then in here you've got your 236 Fibonacci retracement from this drip down. So Lmayo, the sexy part is what happens when you put in recoveries and they're confirmed, and like then it confirms like trend test, recovery stage 1. Right, it's like cool. That's like when we tested the rocket. We're like, well, you need to like test the thing to somehow make sure before you actually go off, right? And maybe this was the test overall, And like here we're like, yeah, everything's legit. This all checked out. Our scientific instruments that we were using to measure that test all say everything is like good to go, buddy. And then you're like, cool. Well, let's roll the spaceship out onto the platform then, right? So this is just like that big thruster test, and then here you are sat on the platform, like really along, and like maybe it's a bit bumpy, right? And then you get there and you're like, Cosant, are you above the 236? And we're like, yep, check. and then like people start climbing up that thing that you do. You climb up it. I imagine it's a lift. I haven't seen the guys get on it, but maybe it's like stairs. And if it's stairs, like fuck that, eh? Reach the top of that with a spacesuit on, you'd be dead. So it must be a lift. In which case, right? Why would you fuck around at these different floors here? Nah, you'd just get the lift straight up, right? So if you get above the 236, you're also breaking above this channel. You're also breaking above this horizontal level here of what was previously resistance and support and resistance and like a breakout level. That's clearly like once we broke that candle body close, traders brought it to a close twice here and then it exploded. Again here, this proved to be the level. Because if we make it above it, opening closes above it, we're always on the line. And then it was the point for your breakdown. It was the point here of the retest. It was the first stage here before again we exploded above, right? And then when you break the 236, it's just blooming obvious, right? Regardless of any cup and handle stuff, right? Which we'd put on there to like, you know, if you've been watching for a while, you'll know my thoughts on everything. And I'm not wanting to be patronising or certainly not like get people all hyped on some cup and handle and then later on be like, oh yeah, I was just joking. That wasn't it, you know. It's like you want to draw a picture for people, and so Bukowski patterns are one of the ways that you do that. Is it helps people understand the technical analysis, but really what you're doing with technical analysis is measuring trend, volatility, volume and momentum in order to predict a path of least resistance. It's not predicting the future. It's about identifying areas of potential risk and reward that will be beneficial to your trading style, and in order to exploit that to the best of your abilities, it's best to use these scientific and empirical ways of improving your method, and that is very commonly things like a test of the 618 on a Fibonacci, a test of the 200 period on a 4-hour time frame, the low of a channel where you've got a demand line, right? There's 3 big reasons to buy on a medium term time frame. Wow, awesome. We've got new donations and members, so we'll cover that in a second. Just finish this wee discursive element where I talk to myself slightly more obtuse way than that earlier mumble TA, more mumbled discursive. So, but along this, in this channel, before you definitively break out of this formation, it may well feel like a stair-stepping experience on a smaller level, right? And you could be drawing in different Fibonacci's here. You could be doing them from body to close. You could be looking to the right here and talking about these sort of levels and seeing how you respond up at the test of this supply line, as it might be known. And as you can see, I've got a little circle drawn out there where you potentially could see it wouldn't necessarily even be breaking of this horizontal level of resistance that we've dropped in here, and if you are to drop that in, between here and here will then be a golden pocket on a different Fibonacci you could draw, right? And so there may be quite a lot of this to go, and when I talk about a lot of it, just opening body closes in and around these levels, and it'll be good to analyze them as it comes and do the TA and talk about, you know, how to manage this experience, which is an experience, right? You're infinite risk at every second of your markets are open. You're exposed to infinite risk. So, if you try to make it fun, then it is good to get the most out of it, right? If you're trying to do it in a gambling, dangerous way, then you won't really last long. So this is one way of like solidifying and improving your own technique, making sure you've got an edge, and then improving on it iteratively, so that when you're not just doing this to empower yourself in the general sense, you're doing it in the very specific sense so that you can get better at experiencing the positive emotions that come from doing those things and on a pursuit of improvement and solidifying your own self-identity, while at the same time making money, right? Because and like doing those two things in combination are fantastic, because right, the validation you get from being able to then help other people through your own success is the most rewarding experience. And if those people are those who've loved you your whole life, or your family, or those you're responsible for, then being able to do that while also being able to like dip your hand into these hugely risky arenas is fantastic, right? And people will call you a retail trader, they'll call you a dumb ape, they'll call you whatever, right? But at the end of the day, like if you can trust yourself, it doesn't really matter what anybody else is saying or doing. And you don't need to take my word for it, because a tip taker is a tip giver, and a tip giver is a tip taker. It's the same person. They need each other to exist. The truth is, you've only got yourself. You're your own hero, and this is a technical analysis that can help you navigate what is like sometimes a very dark path, no pun intended. But I did actually once go to a race, right, where instead of horses it was puns, and there was 11 of them racing, and I thought, oh, I'll definitely win this, right? I'll just bet on 10 of them, right? And that's some people's trading strategy, to just fuck it, right? Just spread the money everywhere apart from like one or two other little places. And the truth is, like, you would really like to target your strategy to make the most of things, because I bet on all of those 10, right? All of those 10 puns. And did any of those 10 puns win? No. No pun intended. Not even one of them. And you can be making that mistake constantly. Or you could just trade with like a little bit of science behind what you do. So that's like the longer version of a technical analysis. Maybe someone's got some questions that I missed. Bing bong, the price is wrong. Price is wrong, but the technical analysis must be respected. 6 stars, subscribe, thanks so much. Matt Raff has become a member. Thank you very much, Matt. Welcome to the family. Sweet Carlos, also a member. Yes, awesome, thanks. That's a nice name, Sweet Carlos. That sounds like a treat. That sounds like an after dinner treat. L. Baker Matthews is a member. Awesome, sweet. BGM, subscribed. Good to have you, buddy. Thanks. Chris Cree super chatted $5. Mumble TA is the best TA. Yay! Thanks, buddy. Yay! Thank you so much. I hope it helps. Right? Every little helps, I've heard. Thanks. And Bright Spark super chatted $5. I was Bright Spark said that. Chris Crease $5, and it was diamond hands. Lots of diamond hands. Woohoo! Yeah, that was kind of the idea behind the thumbnail and the title today. You know, I thought, I could put up like some sort of like real clickbaity thing, because there'll be shitloads of people that have got anxieties that are like haven't heard of me before, and are like, oh, what's going on with price action, and perhaps like emotionally fatigued from looking at other people might find Tradespotting and be like, oh, this is kind of like my kind of vibe. And I was like, could do something like that, really exploit it. And I was like, could I be fucked, eh? Like, nah. Like, it'll find whoever it finds, and like, I'm happy with that. Also, it's kind of good to have a joke, especially if people only ever see the thumbnail. It's like, it is an introduction of sorts. Shoo. So like, yeah, we love GME. It doesn't really matter, you know, and if we're getting a dip, and we kind of love it a little bit more. And that psychology is very counter to that other psychology that the people who are on the other side of the trade would like you to experience. So, that's what am I talking about? I don't know. Go back in time, Jimmy, and undo all that. I can't do that kind of time traveling. Leslie Wright has super chatted $10. Awesome, and an emoji that looks like a potato, but is probably a cookie or something else. I can't really tell from this distance. My monitor, or is it my eyes? I could just make this bigger, Jamie. You can just stop having it all so tiny if you're on this screen. Yes, I can. There, it's massive. Yeller, alright, we're back here. Come member, awesome. And I've missed the top ones. Truth Trader Winsberg has become a member. Awesome, a truth trader. It's like a truth seeker. And you guys, you should have a sword, Sir Winsberg. Supernova, super chat, 15 SGDs. So goddamn sexy. 15 of them. Rookie stream today. It was amazing. Absolutely bonkers. And so well deserved for both of you. It was, yeah, it's amazing. Rocky's my brother. He's my reason for. He's always been my reason, you know. And you know, not Penny's boat.
Sorry. The voices.
Like, and you know, the constant, the thing that anchors you, always been Rocky for me, and like. Every piece of success or enjoyment he gets is like 1,000 times more rewarding for me than anything I do personally. So like watching Rocky stream earlier, Supernova, thanks so much. 6 star subscribed, Matt Raff became member. Awesome, yes, of Cobb. L. Baker Matthews. Are you a real baker? Come out with it, L. Baker Matthews. Are you a real baker? We need to know. And Angela Anthony has subscribed. Thanks so much. And Max Greenwell, super chat, $5. Using Crown's 100 EMA on the 1-day chart, and the last time we were near the 100 was today, and in February at $40, right before we made the big move. Is that correct? Is that correct? That's a very good question, Matt. Well, I mean, Crown has those moving averages on there for very, very good reasons. And the number you mentioned is a nice number. So here's your 100 simple moving average on the 4 hour. It's up there. It also comes in confluent with the point at the top of this channel. So there's another reason why you might bounce between these two numbers, and like add in already to the thesis as we turn it on. We'll go up to the 1 hour, sorry, the 1 day, and there it is again. Boom, a touch of it on the 1 day time frame. And one of the reasons behind this is because the 100 period is simply half of the 200 period. And the 200 period on the 4 hour is just simply two closes away from one. Is two closes was equivalent of one close on the daily. So it's twice as many closes gives you twice as long a moving period average touch. So this is another again like another reason why people trade these things. If you trade the 4 hour and you're looking at it as a medium term time frame that you might trade, then it's safe to use the 200 period moving average as a trend test. If you go up to a higher period time frame, say the one day time moving 1 day time frame, then you might be looking for slightly more aggressive entry targets to make the most of a trending move, and as such you would then use the 100 period moving average on that time frame. You would still look at the 200 period as a bullish confirmation if the price has got there, but if you're looking for an entry on what might be a bullish pattern, which it seems like it has been here, and that's like on the daily time frame, you take that down, look at it on a log chart, you can see that this isn't truly just a linear progression in true Gantt fashion. You could draw a Gantt fan around that, and you could be like, yeah, everything's cool, mate. In fact, I have done, and it is. Trust me. Don't trust me. Trust yourself. Everything's cool, Max. Yo, but thanks for the good question, and shout out to Eric Crown, who's like an absolute legend of mine and a true hero as well to so many people that he probably doesn't know about. So I'm going to stop talking about shit that makes me emotional for 5 minutes. H. Jones, super chatted, $4.99. H. Jones, thanks so much for everything you do, H. Angela Anthony subscribed, J. Great, so that's like an expanded version with little tips on TA. Awesome, that was a cool question, and got to answer something that might have added some value to somebody. So thanks for the question, Max, and for the donation. It's really appreciated. What else was in that question? It was the using Crown's 100 EMA on the 1 day chart. Was it one EMA? Is it not the simple moving average he's got on there? But I suppose like the EMA will be in there in the same place as well. Chart. And the last time we were near the 100 was today. Did we check the February? February. Let's just check it where it is, and then we can go back to the comment and see. Here's the test of it. I suspect that's what you're talking about. That is the test of it. And it was in it around 38.41, which is also was the 0.5 here. It was a bullish retest. We predicted this when prices were around here. We said like here's you've broken 236. Look, you've got all these options on the way down, but on the logarithmic chart it looks like there's like a clear reason for a demand. It'll come in here if this trend is withstands this move. And like maybe you drop it down a little bit there to catch that there, and you'd say, well, what are the relevant levels in and around here? Well, it's the 382, and then the 50%. In Dow theory, that you would on a continuation of this trend would see a test of the 0.5. So like as we predicted up here for various reasons, prices once they'd got through here, we predicted here, they're likely to go to here and then possibly here, and at that point it would make sense, right? I think that's the quote you could say, take from that video wherever it was, and I think got it once. It could make sense, right? And another reason why we say make sense is that people would be entering, right? Because it's a bullish re-entry point, and so like that's what happens off those moves. Like that's a staggering move off the back of that, that one there. And imagine the amount of anxiety in the market at the time there. The move off the back of that was an increase in price of 381%. So like you say, Max, it's a very good comparison, this area. And then here's another move off it. Well, maybe that's what you're talking about, is it? I'm on the daily chart here. Well, you'll be looking at the exponential, so perhaps it didn't touch it there anyway. That's a simple one, but again, let's just measure that off the top of our heads. What we're talking about with our ledger ruler, and you say it went up 153%, right? So like that's at less than half of the other move, and if you're disappointed by that, then jeez. Right, so yeah. And what would you expect to see out of these sort of things? Well, they're not small percentage moves themselves breaking these horizontals. So again, it becomes a very positive area for people to trade upwards from. And if you're looking for the path of least resistance, which happens to also be known as the land of milk and honey, maybe it's oat milk and maybe it's some sort of vegan honey. And like I say, maybe you're taking the steps and you're not interested in a lift, waving goodbye to people, whatever. It's like see you later type shit. See how price action responds. It's just like once it breaks these two levels, there's not much here, right? There's not much reason for it to spend any time in and around here. And we've seen how it reacted previously. Like we're talking hundreds and hundreds of percent moves after a positive retest, and we know what those confirmations are, right? Test of the 200 period moving average on the 4 hour, check. Right? Test of the 100 period moving average on the daily time frame, check. Test of the 618 Fibonacci retrace, check. Confirmation of a recovery to the 236 Fibonacci retrace line, check. Right? Recovery beyond the horizontal support and resistance line, and a move to the 618 on the same Fibonacci, like check. Right? And you're like, well, at that point, right, you're doing a lot of positive things. You're confirming a lot of bullish theses, and at every stage you've got new people adding, because each one of those is a reason for people to add depending on their edge, and all of those people might have confluent reasons to enter in around here. And I know a lot of people have been messaging me recently, and those messages I have responded to are either the people who are on the brink of making a terrible decision, or who have got large accounts and are like, well, where do I put in money? And I can sense that their question is like, and they've said not financial advice, and I never gave them financial advice. Right? Fuck, that was close. What I don't, and I don't want to admit lots of those messages. What I was trying, I fucking really don't know. Anyway, like, just shut up now and not tell the story, right? So, yeah. So what? There's no Rocky. Well, go back to that's something else. Matt has super chat $5. Hey Jamie, would you mind looking at SOFI and giving your thoughts? Yeah, cool, mate. I'll do that in a second, Matt. And thanks very much for the donation. Failure to deliver, super chat $5. FYI, Fidelity seem to be having difficulty finding shares. A plane of market order I placed took 5 times as long as to fill. Never happens. Bullish? Yeah, well, with their systems will be busy. There's a lot of people will be doing that, this sort of level. It was obvious, like, we're talking about things and we focused on the daily and the 4 hour because I'm aware that there will be people, despite the fact that I didn't put in clickbaity titles and stuff, there will be people, perhaps, I don't know, because I'm not looking at the numbers of people and not really focusing on the stats today. It's all like, what the fuck am I talking about, right? We're looking at it from medium-term time frames because, like, it can get emotionally fatiguing if you get a really scared or anxious when price drops, or you get overly excited at any one moment. But you can go up down to like 15 minutes and you could say like, well, hearts in your mouths areas, right? I know we drew all this stuff on different time frames, and like it looks like magic if you just turn up. It's really fucking obvious if you've been doing this for a while. And pardon my language. Anyway, what am I talking about? I can't remember, right? I can't remember what I'm talking about. Maybe it was because of a message. What was it? What was the message? Fidelity. Oh, yeah. So, like, you're down here and you're like, everyone's like, wait, right? There's not much liquidity, because the book's cleaned up pretty fast, and that. So getting back up here, like, well, no one's buying my limit order, right? Because no one's shorting it from here. That'd be crazy. The people that were shorting it were like thank God from here sort of moves, and they were like still looking for this 236, and most of them opened their positions up here, and like a lot of them took profit, then they took profit, then they were like more of them took profit, and then more of them took profit. But by this stage the volume was so low that they themselves were like, nah, and they have maybe some stop losses here that got triggered when prices went up, but it didn't recover far enough, right? It only got to the 236 on that Fibonacci at the time, as we talked about, and then didn't put in proper opening closes above it, came back down again, and then like prices slipped, and that was because volume was so low that people were like, well, I'll just wait for a really good entry price, or like I'll watch it go up and confirm levels of resistance up and away and above, right? Because that's what happens when sensible traders look at prices below the 236 and something. They're looking for confirmations of trend, and they may be on the upside from where prices currently are, they may be on the low side. And when it comes into the low side, and that's like a dip like this sort of thing, and you're hitting the 618 over here, and you're hitting this support, and people are like, sugar, there's loads of reasons to buy that, and they come in and they buy it, and the markets get like slightly more congested, and the limit orders are like filling up, and a lot of people are like, this is very tempting, and then start slapping in the orders, and it's like happening during market trading hours, so it's like it's interesting to this main group of market participants. And so like that gets hard to get those orders without market orders, and then you start putting them in, and it's like, well, nobody's actually like willing to go short here, right? So you're having to get these shares. Who are you buying them off, right? Who's going to be providing shares to you at this point here when it's already done this move? They'd have to have some idea that the prices were going down from here if they're willing to part with their shares, right? At this stage, or at this stage, or at this stage, or at this stage, and they didn't part with them down here. So that's like, the question becomes like, why would they do it here? So the liquidity dries up again, the books are empty again, so you want them, you have to market buy it, and then subsequently the price starts to rise, and it rises on low volume, and when that trend gets confirmed, when you break these other levels, volume picks up again, and the market participants here like can't locate shares to get them to go long or short if you're a lunatic at this stage. I mean, what's your risk profile on that? You're looking at a move to a risk, like, I mean, you're a short there, you'd have to have prices would have to go up like a good 70-80% before you were able to even confirm you were wrong. And on the other hand, your potential gains on it are like, what, 5% at your absolute best. So like there is no other trade right now, and so why would anyone give you shares right now? Like they wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. It'd be fucking ridiculous. So, and pardon me, I'm losing my advertising revenue fast. Yeah, so what was I talking about? Yeah, answering failure delivers. Good question. Like, is there any thoughts on like the liquidity issues? Yeah, that's what happens, especially during periods of low volatility, like preceding it. Then when things move, it's like, well, the people that are providing the liquidity are doing the market orders, and they've got an agenda. If that's you, then you've got yours, and someone else obviously could be the same, could be different. Doesn't really matter. They've identified themselves after the move has happened, and then really it's like, what does the market do, and how does the market respond? And this looks like they've been bought up, right? It's a bullish wick. It's a recovery to the 236 area, which we're doing now, fighting for it, open and close in 4 hours, 15 minutes. You might not like see it as clearly, but and sure, it's not made it back to breakdown levels, but it's above this. This is a distinctive level here for the open and close on these 15 minutes, and then perhaps some sort of retest of it there, and you can see this is an important level based on the Fibonacci's, and so that's one of these areas, and and above it then you're looking at 199.91, and like these sort of levels tend to act like magnets. So there you might see some more people that are like, oh, whereas it's the other hand is like, well, if it comes back from there and gets back to these levels and bought up again, well then they'll be regretting it, and then prices get above here, and then those people are then out, and everybody else has got their shares, and like this is what happens in periods of times like this. Like, and a good way to look at this. that stupid function. If you just load up on the same side as your price action you're using, like that would make sense, wouldn't it? TradingView, to have that program in there, wouldn't it? TradingView. So like this whole period, you know, what is dictating what's going on here? Well, this is on the 15-minute chart, right? And you can see that while this period of what would look to be on the chart here, like how do I make this more obvious? Oh, I could do that. Right. Also, like, whatever, you can see it clearly enough, right? You don't think, oh, is this accumulation, is distribution, what's going on here? And you can see that this would indicate that people maybe are getting, shares are being distributed, right? Shares are being distributed. And you got to take this as like most technical analysis. Terminology is confusing. It paints a picture of black and white, the terminology used, when the truth is the essence of the indicator is usually much more shades of grey. Pardon me. So what is this? Well, what it tells you, what it actually tells you, is that some people are getting rid of their shares. And what happens when some people are getting rid of their shares? Well, how far does it go? Where does it go to? Does it break any significant forms of support? And here's the 618, as we said, on all the different time frames, all the different reasons why this is like not a break of any trend. It's like they got a green line here that shows you pretty much it's all cool. You can see that what that means is that while despite those shares being relatively, compared to the previous time period, are being given out to people, they're all being accumulated. They're actually being accumulated because prices aren't going beyond levels of support, significant levels of support. So it's like, despite all of the work they're doing, despite this breaking its own area of like, oh, this is what we're doing, we're distributing, they're not actually distributing in any way that's affecting the trend, right? So they're not changing what was happening anyway by all the efforts they're putting in. So you see how it's not just like, oh shit, panic when it says one side of the line, right? There's a understanding behind these things, right? And this, right? It's just for people who don't know. Lots of people obviously understand this, and so and I like whatever, right? It's a price action. It's a way of like looking at what's happened with price action. It's just another indicator, and so what it tells you in its shades is that despite people getting rid of it, they're not actually changing the trend, and so the trend is likely to continue. And what would you look back on that retrospectively? You'd say, well, that was probably being accumulated by groups of people. Like there was groups of people who were accumulating this thing when it's being distributed, because that's happens, right? There's two sides to every trade. Every distribution comes with an accumulation. Every accumulation will come from a distribution, right? That's not impossible. It's not possible to decouple those two things, despite what this indicator might say by calling it accumulation / distribution. The name is confusing in this instance, and it may cause you to take the name and try and then use just the name to understand the logic of what's going on here. But actually the logic is like adding it to your price action, and that's what derives the picture, right? So this might be the paintbrush and this might be the pot of paint or whatever, right? I don't care, right? Stupid analogy, time over. That's what that is, right? It's accumulation, distribution, and here you can see that like there's people are distributing, someone's accumulating, and it probably an all group of the same sort of people. Probably it's people that literally yourself or other people who you'll know because they're on this stream or they're on others or whatever. And so those people are probably these ones here. Who are they? Are they some people panicking? Is it price manipulation? Well, you can see that on the DMI that there's again like this is the start of this potential period of flux, and you want to look at that and understand that better. I'd highly recommend you check out Rocky's stream from the same day that this one was recorded if you're not tuning in live, or if you're in live and you haven't seen his video from earlier on. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, reasons why there may be low liquidity in these areas. So finding shares is difficult, right? Because the people who are distributing them, let's see how they're responding right now. This is like come right back down again now. Like this area here, that trend, as you can see, like may be confirmed with some sort of rolling over like this here, and then you'd come in and you'd look at this area and see, well, what happens here, you know, is this a trend of distribution, or is this in fact just a continuation of a train already in motion, which is called accumulation, right? And you can see it down here. And you know what I'd tell you, right? I'd tell you, chew, chew, chew. This is a maglev of pain. There's going to be moments where people try and fuck with you, and that might come in combination with like bad news on television to try and make you feel like you've made the wrong decision. But the truth is, that everybody who tries to tell you a decision that you've made is right or wrong, doesn't actually know, right? They don't actually know. They can't tell you the future, and if that future to does a degree depend on your decisions, and that decision is to buy and hold, then the only person who can do anything to affect that is that person telling you that. So you could just feel totally within your right to say, fuck off and stop telling me what to do with my money when anyone says anything about you doing things wrong, right? And on the other hand, you don't want to shut yourself off from the learning and like these indicators that might make your life easier. So like obviously while you tell other people to shut up, you can question your own reasoning and your own thinking, and this like perfectly healthy experience. And so I would say that like answer to failure delivers question is all shown in this continuation of this trend that's already in motion, this train, right? And you know, train, they go on tracks. They don't go left and right for no reason, right? You can actually look out in front of you and be like, oh, look, I can see where we're going next. And when you're going really slowly, which we have been recently, it's kind of clear where the bends are coming and whatnot, and where you might have to like take a foot off the pedal for a second. And then again, it can tell you like where it might be helpful to like slam it back on again, right? Like look but never stare. So that's that answer, I think. I think that's maybe provide some value. Fidelity, they're one of the big ones, right? So if they're finding it difficult, imagine you're a tiny little broker who's on the phone and stuff. Matt has super chatted $5. Hey Jamie, would you mind looking at SOFI? Yeah, that was right, I was going to do that. There's no Rocky that. Jamie, here's a pint. Join the drinking. The one I sent Rocky earlier. Cheers, brothers. Thanks so much, Wave Speech. Here's Rocky here. Awesome. Cheers, Wave Speech. Appreciated. Thanks very much. And failure to deliver for that contribution. You're a legend. Craic has become a member. Craic. Thanks so much. And Peter Schwern has subscribed. So welcome to the family, Key and brother Peter. I really appreciate all the support. Really helps, from the likes to the views to the shares to the clips to the watch time to the recommendations to the donations to the memberships to all the support, all the stuff you do. Like it's so many different things that everybody does that helps. So I appreciate all of you, and even if you're just watching in and don't chat for whatever reason, appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by, and if you've done it more than once, you're really appreciated. Can I bother you to take a look at AMC? Certainly will do, mate. I'll quickly get to that SOFI thing that your chap asked for earlier, and then if I got it on my charts here, SOFI, I've ever looked at before, because if I haven't, then it won't be quite as quick, but I could do it because I did ask first. Doesn't matter if it was asked first and these sort of things. So we will have queues, and where you're from in Britain, we have got queues, and people seem to fucking love them. But when I went to Spain and we first went to the movies, let's look at AMC first. Just sorry to the chap who asked about SOFI, but I did go to the movies in Spain, and look at all these targets being hit that we talked about. Boom, boom, boom. And the first time I was there in Madrid, when I first went over, I was like 12, staying with this family. We all went up, like me, Dad, and the guy I was staying with, and that, we're going to see something. Can't remember what it was. And as soon as the shutters went up to buy a ticket, everyone just fucking bolted straight to the thing, like, to get their tickets. And I was like, this is the shit. I mean, it made it harder for the old folks and whatnot. But like the survival of the fittest when you're at the cinema in Spain. Anyway, what am I talking about? Right, I was going to look at AMC first and tribute to the idea that people don't do queues everywhere, because queues are fucking shit way about going things. We don't live in reasonable land. It's not where we're going. Why are these yellow lines on the chart, and why does it look so much like something might be happening? For absolutely ages, it seems that people have been accumulating this thing. Right, there's also a trend of both sides of this. At the top, people distribute it. At the bottom, people accumulate it. So the different signature on the accumulation distribution indicator from GME, which we were previously looking at, just like this is just in a difference, right? People say the charts are the same, and you would feel like that when price action drops on one and drops on the other. So like perfectly understandable, you'd feel like that emotionally, but actually some of the indicators are quite different. And this one shows that people are paper handing this all the time, at the bottom, at the top, at the bottom, at the top, at the bottom, at the top. People are like going in and out and in and out and in and out. Whereas GME shows you that overall there's quite a distinct picture of accumulation. So like that's that, right? On a very small time frame, on a tiny little point, that might be some people's takeaway from that, right? Not that people are paper handing it necessarily, but and that's perhaps a mischaracterization. Yeah, let me re-clarify, right? What re-clarify? No, let me just expand on what I was saying so that it's not misinterpreted. The people that are trading AMC at those points marked off on that indicator don't necessarily represent apes, obviously, or even the majority of market participants. It's a far more liquid asset with shitloads more shares and far more strategic holders, and as such, that type of price activity is to be expected to a degree. And not a mischaracterization of people who hold that asset, which I too hold a little bit of and like, and right, I just focus more on GME because it has the potential to do something I think over and above reward me financially. Anyway, that's not like the point I'm trying to make here. I'm trying to do technical analysis on AMC, right? And I do like it, right? And I'm doing it for this reason, putting it ahead of a billion. Anyway, shut up me, right? So what have we got here? Should we delete all that and do it all again or whatever? Nah, it looks fine. I could use this level. Well, we could just explain what it is, right? We've got a Fibonacci here. Where is that? That's the retracement. This is where it starts, right? Yeah. And then it came down to here. Right, cool. So this was, what is this? Let's start it. Looking at a 15-minute chart, well, it's like that sort of thing in it. So I'm gonna see the same on the other ones, isn't it? Yeah, you can't see anything, right? So like whatever, this works. Yeah, I've got from the highs to the lows. You come back in here and you got your 236, and that's where prices have recovered to, back above the 236, right? So like they had a dip, sure, Lmayo. They did it before and touched other levels of support and resistance, horizontal ones. We'll work our way back up through them as we go. But the first one that you need to recover is the 236, and if you can open and close 4 hours up and around here, put in a series of them and move upwards, then start breaking through horizontal levels, like you'll expect this to go back up to around $57 in the not crazy distant future. Before that, you could see that like maybe it stops and trips around to 53.70, because like this is very, anyway, whatever, I'm not doing that yet. I'm going to go level by level and talk about each of them in order, but still keep it brief, right? So you've got this. What did we say here? Obviously we've drawn on DMI, so something must have been going on there as well. I've done that on a larger time frame. I've said something. Well, we'll go back through larger time frames too and check whatever I was talking about there. It's like investigating my own past. Oh, what's been going on with this guy? So yeah, right. So here's your 236, and this is a Fibonacci that's been in place since the whole rise up and the retrace down. You hit the 236 through it, recovery here. This is where you recovered with these body closes again. So that's like, obviously people thought that's a bargain. Then it recovered above the 236. Those people were like, yep, it was a bargain. If this trend continues, like this retracement continues, next level of resistance from your previous price action where traders bought prices to a close is around here at the 48, 47 bucks. And it's where also prices broke below on this part of this move. It's where they broke above on this part of this move. So it's a real area. It's also where we've got further confirmation of that here on this little Lmayo, and when the gap hand move happened and opened below it, it proved to then like the prices start around that level again. So like this will be an area, and this is why this line is here, but it can't be why the line is here because I must have put it in before any of this price action happened. So there you go, right? This is, I'm obviously also when I was looking at my almanac there in the future there, I obviously was remembered some stuff from AMC too in my future telling, and that'll be why these lines are as they are, right? Future telling and stuff. It's not TA. TA is a joke. It doesn't work, especially not on manipulated assets. Everybody who tunes into these shows knows that I'm just clowning around, right? None of this helps. It's all just made up. It's all hocus pocus, witchcraft and whatnot. The idea that I'd use it to make money and live my life on, that's so silly, don't be silly. Of course this is all real, like how much evidence do you need, eh? It's like, well, obviously these, like, however, right? That's irony, and apparently people just genetically don't understand irony, certainly in certain cultures, so I should cut it out and just be straight up with people. Get to the facts, we're only interested in the facts. So, straight facts. There's your horizontal level of support and resistance, which will hopefully turn into something you see soon. And then the next one beyond that, where you really took the move down here, is up at around $50, about 50. It's also a test of this 100 period moving average, and if you were watching earlier on GME, you'll know why that's important. And above that, you've got the 200 at your next period of horizontal support and resistance right now. That's what these are coming in at. That just still happens to be the 50% and the 382 sort of areas of the same Fibonacci that you're talking about on the way down. So here's your steps up, right? The next one you're looking for, if you can confirm here, the next one's 48.50, the next one's 50.50, the next one's 52.50, and the next one's 55, right? And you're looking at it and you're like, well, Jimmy, that's not that much money. And it's like, well, what do you want me to do, right? This is what the charts are saying, right? And are you not excited about that, right? It could be 2 pence, and if I could predict that it was happening and it happened and I looked back on it and saw it, I'd be excited. What are you looking for, like? And who's primed you to be looking for, like, crazy ass moves ahead of going past, like I mean, you want to get over there, you're going to have to, like, anyway, whatever the fuck. These are where people will trade things. So and that's what the accumulation distribution marker already gave us a heads up on that first time we opened this up, right? The volatility has picked up, you can see that there on the shorter time frames, and I don't like this indicator on those time frames, so I'm turning that off. Look at the DMI on these time frames and say, let's delete this. No, let's go back up through the time frames and look whatever I was drawing that for. These are the areas, there's a gap here, you're obviously going to go up and test that. This is, like I'm saying, obviously, but I shouldn't be, because it'll give people the wrong idea, and there is no time frame yet. I've not done any analysis to see when that might happen. So, you know, whatever, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's technical analysis. Everything's cool on that. Also, what you're looking to do, right? If you start putting in these confirmations, it's only a matter of time before you hit that 236. I know that it looks above these levels of support and resistance, and people might be using them to define, like, whether or not they feel confident, right? That's cool, but price action doesn't give a flying shit. And when it looks like the magnet's up at 57, that's where it'll go to test. And why would it be up there? Well, there's loads of different reasons why it'd be up there, right? There's also the 618 golden pocket, which gives you a little bit extra room, which is also, like, all up there, right? And so you want to see prices up and close above there, right? So 59, 50, 60 bucks, right? When it gets back above there, then you can say, awesome, sweet. You also be able to say, though, when it open and close above here, that you're maybe putting in a trend change, and that's why there's an area to trade here, there's an area to trade here and go long, here to go long. Break above all this, I'd actually look up above here rather than taking any of that pesh. That sort of trade not suiting me, right? The risk reward at this stage is like shite again for entries, right? So it's now, or it's like actually up here back around 54.50, and then if that all goes to plan, then you're looking up at test of this level, and then afterwards you're looking for, like, confirmation of support and resistance, and once you get it, this thing's gonna probably go fucking ridiculous. Like this is 85 to 95, so this is up to these levels. This is obviously, have I got that in the right place or whatever? I have, I guess. So these ones, these green lines are probably just moved them to these levels, because that's where other people are looking at. Anyways, the zone, so like this will be up around 95, 96 bucks, and then 106, 109, 10 bucks. Like, and I'm sure I've been saying these targets every time I've looked at this for ages, so like literally nothing's changed. And then if you wanted to look at it those higher time frames, figure out why I drew that. All right, making Rick and Morty lips is coming up, doing that. That's all started on the 4 hour. Let's turn on moving average yields, and you can see body closes on 4 hour. What have we managed to do here? Open and close below the 55, then that 4 hours open and closing below the 2-3, so it's like opening here, right? So you want this to recover on this 4 hours. That would be important. So that's something to look out for. Recovering that 236 in the 4 hour close. You'd want prices today to finish slightly above where they are, technically. This is just wanting, doesn't actually change anything. Whether it happens or not isn't important. The point is what you would like to see, because it gives you something to then go on. It doesn't mean anything in terms of good or bad. It's just like a step to put your foot on. with regards to working out your thesis, that's all. So you'd like to see that so that you could then build it into like TA tomorrow. The full retrace on this move is still down at like 40. That's where like perhaps like a test would come in at. It's also in conflict with that moving average on the daily. 55 doesn't quite make it. And then on the weekly, you're only just testing this, right? You're only just testing this. Oops, that's that Fibonacci. You're only just testing this on the 9 period week on the weekly, right? And if you've been watching the DMA TA that we've been doing recently, which most of you have been, right? Obviously, Jamie. If you've been watching it recently, then the 9 period moving average on the weekly time frame is a confirmation of bullish trend. We're hitting it there on AMC. That's a lagging indicator, so you can assume that to have been hit. And again, that's like, look at it there, right? I mean, you could have drawn that out easily, right? It's like obvious at this stage. Once it did that, this is all fine. This is S236. It didn't manage to close it, open and close. Didn't manage to get anything below there previously. And so far today, that's where we're sat at. So, right, it's an area of interest for those sort of reasons. That's that. And I was also going to look at SOFI. The guy asked ages ago, sorry. I've got it on my charts. Did I just take it off? Jeez. I've still got something on the go here. Oh, look at this. Well, I don't know. You asked me to look at this before? Whoever you are, my friend. Whoever it was, we drew this line in. And here we are at this line. It's a 618 retrace. It's the retest of this linear progression. It's the trend. Touch on daily. You can see prices floating up to 0.5 here. This it hasn't even got it to the 618. It's not putting in closes on the daily yet, even below. Or if it is, it's very barely below the 0.5. Close enough is near enough, right? Below this, you're on the lower time frames. Seems like you're getting pulled down by this moving average. Seems like you're like just hitting off it since these heights, and then you put in a touch of divergence on this first high here on your DMI. Right, I love this indicator. Anyway, not going to dwell on it. Can't get it free anymore. I don't think. You probably can't. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think you should be able to. You should fucking not let people have it for free, right? Because people will just take it and that, and he's not got a big enough audience that he'll get the credit he deserves, which is so much more than he's ever likely to get anyway. Like, people will just take it and do stuff to their own and try and make their own stuff better, and they'll have a bigger audience and they'll have a wider reach, and they'll be the fuckers that get credited with inventing the light bulb, and that guy that actually did it, he won't. Or Tesla's story, it'll be the same fucking narrative again anyway. But like, he did it. It's there. It's out there. You can see it now. The timeline is as it is. And anyone else does anything, it's like too late, mate. He did it, and it's to help other people too. Like that's why I'm eager he gets the credit. He himself didn't do it for any reason other than to help people, and which is why it's free, right? When other people charge thousands of pounds for shite. Anyway, what am I talking about? I'm trying to do SOFI, right? Came in, touched this, so it's obvious buy. It's touched this horizontal level of support and resistance as well, so obvious reason to buy it. Your moving averages are telling you shit all story because they're not like in any sort of, that's not a signature of anything in particular. If anything, it's like the flux you'd expect to see in a retest of a trend. And you're looking at 30 minutes, like just this same old. Your DMI's crossed. It's just reached up to the 38 level on the ADX. At the same time, your trend persists to be at reasonably the same level. Like the downtrend hasn't actually increased in speed here, even though you've dipped below this particular level here. It's lower, but that's confluent. But back over here when that downtrend was picking up, there's a degree of divergence here too, right? So if you're looking at this, you're thinking, well, how much was the downtrend in control? And where is the ADX strength now compared to when the vast majority of the move was happening? And it's like, it describes the behavior of certain market participants and also makes it look like a buy. And I know that line doesn't look there, but you've got so much of this history here, right? Like all of it, literally, is where it starts. And that way, like, there's also fake out zones and things you can do to manipulate people's psychology when it gets here. And depending on the liquidity of the market, you know, you'd be looking at this and thinking, well, we could trick people if you were on the other side of this trade. You'd be like, we can easily get some liquidity here, right? If you're a market operator and you're tasked with, say, perhaps some long, big pocket bull, or some alternative company who looks to like take pieces in these sort of things, or you're a fund manager who wants to add this for whatever reason, you might employ somebody called a stock operator to go out there and get you these shares at like a discount, and then as a return you'd give them some of those shares, and they themselves wouldn't have the liquidity to trade it, but they'd use your balance and they'd get them for you, and they'd be like, well, you know, if we can take the prices here, we can drop them through this level of support, we can get some, right? And when we get them, then we'll take them and we'll fucking sell them again, and we'll push prices right beyond it, where people would expect them to go to. We'll know ourselves that we're collecting them at like support, right? Horizontal support, which we've identified as the base value for these things, and we know that we can affect the market to X degree with this liquidity that you guys given us. And so like they do it, and then they like, you know, get those shares or get those options or get those convertible notes or whatever it is that you're rewarding them, and then you accumulate this thing, and that's how you manipulate markets and price. They're the people you get to paint things on charts for you. So it's not always people that are like going against you, it's people that personally are against you, but they're in it for the same goal as you are, and they're ultimately aiming to the same place that you are, and this still got a lot to go for it, right? On the other hand, it hasn't yet broken above this level of resistance here. It's its first test of that area, and it's like it's an area where you would then start trying to manipulate people, especially if you see the divergence there, and you can start freaking people out. And it's not been around long enough that those people who were initially tasked with like, so has this been around for a while? Why does it only get shit all information on it anyway? Well, I don't know, right? I don't know how long this has been around, but like, say for example, it did launch in around here, right? Look at this. This is just like stock operator written all over it. The initial investors are laughing. Everybody's like everyone's working together to get this to the top side, but they all want to make money, and they're all taking it off weak hands there. And that, and you look at that and you say, is that Wyckoff distribution? You'd say, well, look at those series of higher lows. Like, where are you getting that from? This is a log chart, and it goes back a couple of years, like, doesn't it? And it goes back sometime. I had 6 months, 7 months. Anyway, it's a trend, and it's been like that since it started. But there's not enough information to drive much off it. You could start drawing price targets and doing crazy stuff, but it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not that sort of thing yet. Dip below the 38. That's quite signature. See that come around, and these kiss again as this ADX drops and then turns around. You might see prices drop a little bit more before that happens. So yeah, that's the chat with that. I mean, what did I think about it? We've got lines on it before in this other chat. We said that was there, so that's probably what it is. And then what we want to look at when we come back to this and see, next time somebody asks, we'll say still potentially go to 618, so like leave room for maneuver in there and say like, there's your 236 from, what's this? That's from, if it in future goes to here, then you'd be looking at like confirmations above there. Alternatively, if it just stops here, then your 236, pardon me, in your area of support and resistance are confluent with back over here. 382, sorry, is on this previous fib, plus the support and resistance from this move, plus the breakdown area on this move, and its own support and resistance, plus the 236 on this Fibonacci. If the bottom has already just come in, then is only up at 1916, right? And that's just not all that crazy to make it there from here. At which point, if it broke that and went beyond, you'd be looking at this, at least the 236 and the 618 here in the golden pocket. So then you'd be looking and targeting and around here. So let's draw that in there and say, it's also a test of its previous support and resistance. That's probably going to go to there. And while it might go down below, this is really your entry there, and then your stop loss will be somewhere in around here depending on your risk tolerance. There's your 618. It's also where a safer entry is really, and like some people would enter there, so we'll just drop that on, and like that would be that sort of safer entry. It'd also be like a fake out and turn around, and it'd be characteristic of what I think the people that are controlling the price with this are doing. It'd also be like smart, and that you'd feel well good about it if you got that. But there's also this trade here, which, you know, you might take to be underwater, prove ultimately to be okay, It depends. Are you patient? Have you got the risk tolerance? Do you want this desperately? Because there's opportunity cost of trading and that and being underwater, and there's also great times to enter and go on up. Maybe you're waiting for a retest and a move beyond the 236 yourself, in which case your entry is actually on a confirmation above this level here. So right there's your stair steps levels on this. Potentially go down here, put that as orange. Next level you're looking for is on your app. Keep that white because it's reasonably neutral. If you break above this level here, which is green, that's really good news. And then ultimately your targets are up around this sort of zone, which is what colour is that in? Yellow. Yay. Right, so that's what you're looking for on this. In terms of price targets, that means that you're either entering in around here. I'm not saying this is not financial advice, right? It isn't. 1690 is like an entry, and then the price targets are like, well, I need to see confirmation of 1934 to know what's going on coming next, and it might be that trade's like looking at least for confirmation up at around 2349. Then you'd be like, whoa, that was great. And if it was like, if you're able to then put the time analysis on top of that, and then you're trading this in whatever particular way, whatever particular instrument, then there's perhaps lots of money on the table. Who the hell knows? I don't, and I don't know who it is that's trading it specifically. Well, that's that. That's the chat, and if people are interested, they got it, but it might have distracted them from GME, which is the real story here. Like, it's the greatest story ever told. And well, so there it is, 188.62. You're still fighting for those same areas, as you would expect after a big move like that. Some people are anxious. Not everybody's watching this show. Here's your retest. You got your like target there. You got your 618. There's top of your channel. You're looking at that confirmation. Come from above, tested basis line 236 up and down above there 4 hours. Not really all that out of the scope of what you would expect. And then above that, obvious targets that we talked about. Yo, and if you're just turning up, then you can go back to the start and you'll get some ideas from it, from that sort of thing. So, what is people saying? That's not the chat I want to be looking at. I don't want to bend around the microphone thing. Wolfic Doomslayer, you have 117 points. That seems like quite a lot. What have I missed onto Streamlabs? Have I missed anything? Edgar Pena, super chat. Well, it's Joe. How's it going, Edgar? Edgar de la Pena. MX 200. Buckle up. Whoa, yeah, you need your. You definitely need it. It's like the dodgems. Is it the dodgems or the roller coaster? Well, it's everything. We're going on all of them. And like that was what we were talking about earlier. We don't like queues, so we're just jumping on shit every time we see it. Rocky Outcrop has donated. Rocky Outcrop. 2758. Always been your best ally and friend. Oh, Rocky, you're doing it. Legend, you. Thanks. Rocky's stream earlier was the best thing I've ever seen on YouTube. No exaggeration. It was. From me personally, being his brother, it was definitely the best thing I've ever seen on YouTube. And thanks, everybody. Thanks so much. Bird Beer. Super chat $2. Can I bother you to take a brief look at AMC? That was what we did then. Yo, buddy. Hope that was helpful and some value in it. Thanks very much for the donations. Appreciate it. Peter Schwen subscribed. Cool. Okay, became a member. Awesome. Thanks so much for everybody who subscribed and joined. Laurie, YJ, Mbaktai. That's quite a cool name. Sounds kind of like Wata! But I'm probably saying it wrong. Zichimp. That's not even a name. And then Edgar. Thanks, mate. And Rocky. Love you, Rocky. Brilliant. So this is the chat, right? We've looked at most things now. I think we've covered pretty much everything. In the TA realm for the time being. And so that's that. I noticed that before I went live that I was getting comments on videos. It seemed that they didn't really very specific videos, like just randomly people were tuning in and be like, about price action. People who probably aren't trading GME and don't understand it. And I was like, this is dead silly. Like, the different types of people, because at the same time I was watching Rocky Stream, I was getting these notifications from silly people saying silly things, and then honestly on Rocky Stream all these cool, amazing things, and I was like, this is such like, for me personally, the way I see all the story, it's like such a definitive moment was that all of that stuff today in Rocky Stream happened when prices took a dip. Like, prices took a dip, and that happened, and that was Rocky's best. He describes it as the best day of his life, which I know, like, was probably one of the best days of my life, and just watching it for him. Thanks so much for that donation, Bob P. It's not mumbled to you. You are so evolved that you speak in cursive. So happy for Rocky and you. Exactly. I'm an artist. That's what it is.
I'm just curious.
My
I saw you shuffling your checks with your right hand. Can you do that with
mouth
both
is a
hands?
brush. Mouth needs a brush. That's sometimes some people would say. Thanks.
Man, don't be a
It's
fucking
appreciated.
man.
Yeah, so it was brilliant watching that stream, and that happened. What it happened when it happened when GME was taking a dip, and like essentially, and so was AMC, and like as it has been before with everything, like in other things, but essentially in this type of community, you guys who like have come along since GME's come along, like we've all been brought together on this like awesome ass journey, and we're all together in this story, and like the people in it themselves are like so amazing from so many different walks of life and so many different parts all over the world.
I need a volunteer.
Chris Sweeney did 493 super chat. Denmark v England. What team is your money on? This is Denmark, man. What? Did I not tell you I'm Danish? I am Danish. What are you talking about, Chris? I'm Danish. That's a silly question, Chris. Who's your money on? When was the last time England reached a major final? 1966. When was the last time Denmark did it? Who the hell knows, right? I don't know, but I'm sure they did it not all that long ago, right? With the Loud Drops play for Denmark? I can't remember. They were good then, if it was them. Those brothers. Two brothers! I don't know, right? I don't know. Looking at historical things like that's no help, but and England are doing really well at the minute, so who knows? And the truth is, I don't care, like, in that question, like, who is supporting anyone that England's playing, like, that's just like getting it round you. The truth is, like, none of us really care. Well, I don't. But what? So who do I want to win? Like, whoever plays more entertaining football, I'd like to see win. And a final between Italy and England would be epic. I'd love to see that. But then I am from the UK and I'm not from England, so like I've still got the same culture as everybody else, and you know what that's like if you're from anywhere in the UK. You want the underdog to win, and the underdog just happens to be Denmark. So even like a tiny part of like the English psyche will like be like, I don't mean the hardcore going to rip your head off once. I mean like people who just watch it, and don't care too much. They'll be like, not all that bad if Denmark wins, right? It would be more annoying if like France would beat them or something, or Germany, who they just beat, which was like obviously good for other reasons. So like whatever, right? I don't care. But like, I'd like entertaining football. That's the truth. But I won't be watching it anyway because I've not watched anything apart from the Scotland-England match. And in that Scotland-England match, I think Scotland were by far the better team. You know, tell me I'm wrong, right? It looked like it to me. The midfield was, that's for sure. And the defence was, and David Marshall, well, he's a hero for lots of people. Chris, thanks. Denmark v England. What team's your money on? But it'd have to be Denmark. Like, you'll get better odds. Probably. And what type of game? Well, I don't know, right? Let's just make, I don't know, right? Because I've not, like, let's say, like, nah. Probably England will thrash them. Like, what am I saying? England will, like, thrash them. I don't know. But then Denmark, you have to put something on the underdog. I don't know, I'd probably put multiple bets on. And I'd wait till the game started and then put others on and reduce my risk. That's what I'd end up doing. But like, let's just say, like, I like it if either of them win for different reasons and not really care all that much. I think that's the best answer I can give. Laurie, thanks for subscribing. VJ and Bob P, that's super chatted. It's not Mumble TA. Cheers, mate. It kind of isn't. No, yeah, definitely not. But it is, but it ain't no way. What are you talking about? You know, it isn't. Yeah, it is. Chris, thanks. So that's all that. That's it. We've all. If I'm answering questions on England, Denmark, and I'm not saying England should get beat, then probably I'll be cast out of Scotland. And that, you know what they say about profits at home and whatnot. I don't want to make that situation any worse. Tempt fate. Haley is going to beat whoever wins, says Matref. Yeah, like, probably. Also, the blow. I mean, I see the way they play. Like, Mancini's done a good job lately from all reports. I don't know. What do I know? Who just cares what I think? Nobody. Literally nobody. Right. So, Rocky's here. I'm going to say hello to him. And what time is it now? 7 o'clock in Britannia. 7 o'clock. don't know. Don't think I'll be back on for market close. Maybe I will, and it would be a bonus stream, but I'm not planning on it. We'll see how things go. But let's see what everybody's been saying in chat. I see people mentioning my name. I joined as a member of Tradespotting and Rocky after freeloading for a long time today. This is the news summary in my world. Dan will go. Thanks, mate. That's really appreciated. It really helps. Thanks for joining up. Excellent. Have I missed new membership things? Oh, sugar. Does it even show up on this thing? What thing was I looking at before? I was looking at this other thing. Jeez, I've got the wrong thing up. That's why that's not seeing it. I've got that open 3 times. No, I haven't. Awesome. Well, I can roll the credits and see that and say thanks to people. Awesome. Kind of really take a look at it. See, that was okay. I got that one. So I am everywhere. I am everywhere. I am everywhere. And somebody asked me to do a market review, but did I hear it or did I make that up in my head? What happened? Still thinking of a survey of the market. I'll look around the markets. Sure, I could do that, but it would be a super fast lap. And thanks very much for Dan Will Do who said that, and I read their name there. And there's Harry Buttcheeks. Tradespotting request for overall market review has been put in order. It has been, hasn't it, my lord? We shall have a quick lap around. Let's do the lap around Frostcrest. You buddy. Welcome Dan. Thanks Dan. Thanks for welcoming Dan Frosty. And hi Dan. Grace. You have 1,196 points. Holy crap, how did you get that many points, Grace? How have you been doing that? You see, if you go to the description in my video, you can go down and see like what I'm also streaming on page, right? So it's on every video now anyway, it has been for ages. Go down, there's like, I also, if anything ever did happen on YouTube, I'd still stream from there. So like, you could like bookmark it or something. Maybe there's something there for, I don't know. Anyway, right? Anyway, it's a page. And on it, you'll see there's like a leaderboard on somewhere down on the left. And it's got like everybody who's ever tuned in's points. And you can see how many everyone's got. And then you can get more points by doing duels with people, and you can take their points off them, and you can do all sorts of things. You can also do, is Rocky there in chat? Rocky, can you try and launch a heist? Like, I edited the heist because I didn't want the treasure hunt information in there that I had previously put in because it was too obvious, and also on the other hand it was like anyway, there was 2 reasons why I couldn't do it, and one of them was because it was too obvious. Frostcrest iHaste 800, did that work? So it's with, I could try and join it, can I? Does it work? Is it starting? But is it working? Yeah. I want to join. Am I typing in the right things? I'm not typing it in. Did I spell it wrong as well? Wow, how many points have I got? This is exciting. Points. How many points have I got? Is the heist starting? Shit, I'm not in it. Are you on the heist? We're in cooldown. So have people done a heist already? You've got 46 points. Oh, right. Wonder what the minimum is and if that gets me in the door. This is funny if it works. Have you already done it? Type now. Heist. 64. So you have done it. Have you been a successful one? So this is like the default thing that just comes up when you start it, right? It's not got my actual heist that I wrote about how we were going to raid Citadel. Has it? How does this go? Let's heist this shit. Tradespotting. We've done it like 4 times. And what is it? What do we do? Is it just like, I haven't seen the default one, so I don't know what it is. It's just some like, and the one I had set up was slightly different. Yeah, so this is just the default one that's loading. It's not got the raids on Citadel. So we do this thing. Okay, right, cool. So you can do these heists, right? What we're doing now, apparently. If you can type along, you can see it. And we're also, what we're doing is, there's like duels, and there's like bets, and there's like Magic 8 Ball, and there's quotes. And what else is there? All sorts of things. And like you can win points by doing these things. The Fallen Brothers and Sisters. Harry Buttcheeks. Tradespot, and I got 50 points. Sweet, this is cool, it's fun. It does that too. It just needs the right amount of people to start, I think, Tradespotting. It does that too. It also does the raids on Citadel. Does it do those ones? They're awesome. That was the one I wrote. I don't want the default one. It's dead, like, boring. I want it just to be monkeys and it fit with the branding. Couldn't get it to work. Frostcrest got so many points. Yeah, so I was thinking, right, what we'll do with the points thing is, we could make it so that you could, on the drinking streams, you could spin the wheel by spending a certain number of points, and then like I can add that to like the rewards thing, and then you can do like I something, like a command, and I can make it like choose one of the random animations or just load up, because that would take time and I can't be bothered taking time to do this shit. I could just load up a random one from like chat, Rocky, Jamie, guests, guest 1, guest 2, whoever it is, Cosmic, hopefully soon, maybe this Friday, I think so. And then you could like spin the wheel and like make everybody drink that way, so that way that people who couldn't donate or whatever would still have a way of doing it. So you could spin the wheel and play along that way. And then I was also thinking like I'd eventually add like limited edition products to like the merch thing, so that you could get them for free if you got enough points or whatever. And like the points you get are in no way related to like money you spend or anything like that on the channel. It's just like what you just get points for like watching and talking and stuff like that. That's how you get them. So like the people who like support the channel in the way that best benefits the algorithm, I think, which is essentially are like people who are doing like so much for the channel that might not get recognition in other ways. So like it's great to see it in that, and like, you know, and I also obviously see that and looked at it when I first saw it myself, and I was like, oh, all the names on there and the people in that. I haven't looked at it in the last couple of days, but the last time I did, Eddie B was top of it, and I was like, yeah, I love that guy. There's other people catching up now though, because they'll have got points from doing these games, whereas he got all his hard way grafting. So we'll see where that's all at. But now it's like it's all like a little bit woo, a little bit wow, a little bit gamble, and you can also do I gamble. I'm pretty sure, right? And you're getting your internet points. Yeah, what the fuck? I got 3x sparkling heart and lost. Slot is a shell. 3x sparkling heart seems like a win to me. How's that not working? Giro's got 536. Everyone's getting points. Tradespotting. How do we ask sock puppet questions? Whoa, that's a good idea. I'll add that to the points thing too. Like if you get enough questions, you'll be able to ask a stonk puppet. It's stonk puppet, isn't it? Not sock puppet. Stonk puppet. Yeah, stonk puppet. He's just here. But his time is very valuable. So and he loves his internet points. So. Or she, I don't know. I'll have to ask it later what it says about that. You're not drinking up my points. I gamble. Tradespotting 2,611. Alright, what's that? I've got 2,000. I'm number 2,611 perhaps, because that was a hash, but I don't see it. Crosscrest deleted it. I don't know what's going on anymore. The mods are taking over. You have 1 point. Rocker lol. Darker. Slots 20. Oh my god, I can't read. I'm not a gambling machine. I can't read them things out. Always be my best alien friend. Rocky Outcrop, Legend. What was the destination? Scroll up. What happened? Samsung subscribed. Awesome. Right, so you can play all these games and chat. Whoa, great. And I think it helps. It also helps if you click like. So if you haven't done it and you want to hit like, that's appreciated. I've got a sore neck because I've been sat at a strange angle. What's the exchange rates for points to picnic? 100% serious. What's the exchange rate? Can't do that, mate. Picnic's like 100% like everything that goes into it is trackable, traceable, legitimate type idea. It's like how it has to be $1 in for anything, and it'll be like for every $1 in you can only get 90 cents out and whatnot, and they'll say it would work. It's like has to be like completely and utterly whiter than white, like the whole dealio. It's the whole dealio, but like I can give you like if it did evolve that like after the MOAS and whatnot, and I like talk about things like I'd be talking about picnic obviously, but I don't know if I'd be able to legitimately talk about TA, because I'd obviously want the thing to go up and be doing whatever anyway. Like I'm not going to talk about that. And what I'm saying is
I need a volunteer.
what am I saying? Like I'm totally ethical about shit. So what am I actually saying? What was the conversation? I'll go back to what I was trying to say. Oh yeah, it was about that thing for that picnic. Well, I could do like something like merch stuff for free and that. And if the channel evolves into talking about how the inner workings and like reports to the communities and stuff, because like we're so open, Rocky and I are so open about stuff that we would have like. Anyway, whatever, you'll see it when it happens. Like, and see if it works or not. Whatever. And it's a super chat at $25. Oh my goodness. Edgy hedgy, you shitty hedgy. What once was yours soon is ours, and you cannot win. We know all your bluffs filled only with sin. The fight we shine. The light we shine cannot design. You cannot design. Coming for you, they are the holy divine. Time in hands, baby. Wow, did I just story that or what? Andy, you're a legend. And very modest chap as well. And you contribute loads around here all the time. It's really appreciated. Thanks so much, Andy. No least with your waxing lyrical. Edgy wedgy, you shitty hedgy. What once was yours soon is ours. You cannot win. We know all your bluffs filled only with sin. The light we shine, you cannot design. Coming for you, they are the holy divine. Diamond hands, baby. Cheers, Andy. And $25 is a big donation. Thanks so much. Will appreciate. Thanks. I stepped or something. I missed it. What about way to show you are the good you've done in the world than to do TA on your securities? Yeah, sure. I mean, it would be, but then people would then be like, "Hey, he said it was going up, and he's like responsible for like the company operations, and he was doing this." And I suppose like, are you allowed to do that? Maybe you are, but Elon Musk's not even allowed to tweet without getting his hand slapped. But it's like they do just slap his hand, and then he just does ignore it, So because they're just, I don't know. I mean, I want to do it ethically in that. I could obviously do it retrospectively and talk about stuff, but we'll see what happens. I can also do other stuff that's like more interest to people who are looking at the fundamentals of the company and want to see the progress and want to see like, how we're developing along with the strategic goals and the roadmap and stuff like that. Anyway, that would be what it was, but like, that's not my goal at the minute. It's like, it is my goal, and it's like as much time as I spend here, I spend there. Obviously that's not seen, but like that's by intention. What am I talking about again? Yeah. It would just be about showing people what it was like what the actual truth was with the progress and how we were hitting targets and whatnot, and why those targets were important and what it might mean for the future. So just that sort of thing. I mean, we would be doing TA as your students, since you cannot do TA if you are the owner. Exactly, yeah, it would be like that. So you can all do the TA. Well, I imagine you would be doing the TA. Hope that'd be awesome, mate. Imagine that, you could because there's one thing like linking your shareholders as your customers and whatnot as like this like new sort of thing that's filtering through. I mean, I say new, it's hundreds of years old, but like the way it's coming across now, refreshed with GME and AMC. Like if you could also like have your customers be your stock operators, it's fucking. I don't know how you could do that, because also there's like rules around organizing and stuff. And like I say, at the bottom of this screen, right, you can see that the real treasure on, not this default thing on Streamlabs, and that is out there, right? And there's a $10,000 prize. There's chart link below, so you can see my charts. And like, if you were looking at my charts during Rocky stream or whatever, I was just thinking like, oh, people will be like, when you're, I can't imagine you would have been, but any time today, and a lot of people that know me don't know Rocky yet, how is that possible? Oh, headache. You may have also clicked these links below and seen these charts and that, and they're up all the time. And I had this doing this so that people wouldn't panic, and did the 618 and the 236 and talked about this 190, like obviously by putting in these lines. Or did I do that during the stream? I don't know, but it made it obvious there, so that anyone who's watching along would have that. You know, I don't want you to be anxious when prices are going like in ways that you might find surprising or that. So like doing this. Looking out for the stream with Cosmic, same here. Looking out for it too. I'm going to sleep before it so that I can actually give it my best. Forgive my ignorance, but is there some reason, correlation between the amount of borrowable shares going up to 500,000, which is the same amount of OTA money puts expiring next week? And borrowable shares, same amount expiring next week. Well, those ones expiring next week will have been traded for a long time. And now that that's in the same number of borrowable shares, 500,000. Well, I mean, that might speak to, it's hard to know if there's a correlation between it, but you can say that each of those things have determinable factors around them, right? Like, you can just construct them, the number of borrowable shares, right? And my assessment of borrowable shares is perhaps different from, like, people who spend time looking at Ortex and whatnot. And I'm not slagging anyone, I'm just saying I've got a different way of doing things, each to their own, right? And if you're borrowing, if shares are available to borrow, it means somebody's recently bought them. Generally speaking, it means it's a large institution, and it could be reflective of a period of accumulation. If it's happening around support and resistance levels, then probably is accumulation on the downside, or, you know, and that's where we're at, support down there on GME, if that's what you're talking about. So there's that, and then like you take from that what you will, and then on the borrowable shares run up to 500,000, the same amount of puts expiring next week. Well, the puts that are expiring next week, a lot of them have been written by Chicago. They'll be written out there. Market makers be putting them out for a while. People have been buying them for a while. The correlation would have to have begun there because that event came first. Because the reason for the thing would have to have been already identifiable, is what I'm trying to say. And so if there was a link, you'd probably have to go back and look for something. And in order to get correlations, you do tend to need 3 confirmations, you know. I don't know how you approach like constructive analysis in that way, deconstructive thoughts in that way, and how you take things on. But perhaps you're thinking like, you know, you need 3 touches to confirm a trend. You need 3 aspects to like enforce your logical inference and to draw reliable narratives that are like robust and fit within like a possible trading scheme. It is best to kind of stick to what you know. So like, rather than try to look for correlations between 2 possible things, look for the determining factors, right? It's more about the and you're right, and it is, and it's a great question, and the proper answer would say of course you're right, and to do that is the essence of TA, and well done, and you're right on there, and the whole objective you've got, and that one way of finding that answer that you might be looking for is when you're on a period of speculative thought like that and you're looking for confluent factors, one way to do it is to look for the common denominator, you know. So like, what are the 2 factors that drive those 2 things? Yeah, that's the way to look at it, I suppose, and that's a good question. So, and again, I don't know the answer specifically. I can't tell you that anyone will, but I can tell you that that's the thought process and you're on the right track, that's for sure. See, chats, people are talking so much, and like now you can do these different things. People are interacting loads more with it. That's awesome. And you know, if you do want to catch my attention, you always can do it by just saying at Tradespotting. But I'm about Cosmic Lightning Warrior, but I'm about to go, so you won't be able to do that for anything specific now. Thanks so much for everybody who's helped me today and being so nice, and everything you did for Rocky earlier. Like, can't thanks enough. It's amazing. And thanks for sticking around with me. What time is it now? It's nearly dark here in Edinburgh. It's already 7:15. How did that happen? It was an hour ago. I said I was going to stop. Right. Awesome. So, Sparkling Heart, and won 100 points. Rocky got that earlier and didn't get nothing, I think. What's going on? There's one more heist, then I've really got to get my oil changed. awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you for reminding of logical analysis. I don't
Just
know much
curious.
about
I saw you
options.
shuffling your checks.
Bobby
with your right hand.
Bollinger.
Can you
Yo,
do that
logical
with both hands?
inference, yeah, and that's why trending's like 3 touches and whatnot, and like there's 3 is the magic number, and like you can, you know, so it's 14 if you like whatever. Fuck it. This community changed the world. Would you and Rocky love for each other is diamond. We are all here for each other, even with Rocky emotional stream today. Yo, Drew. Yo, Drew. Saw you earlier. Legend. Thanks so much. That donation $4.99. It's really appreciated. Love this community. I love this community too. It's so amazing seeing that earlier. Like all the things Rocky said, I can't say it better than he did at the time. You know, thanks so much for everybody who was there and helping, like that moment, and giving and doing and just being there, and everybody who supported Rocky since he started doing YouTube. And he's my inspiration for so many things. He's my reason for like everything good I do, and that. And like I'll never be able to articulate the things he's helped me with and the things he's got me through. And he has always been there for me, always, through everything. So really appreciate him, and really appreciated you guys for helping so much and doing everything this morning. It was one of the best days of my life, seeing how he got so like many internet buddies doing so much there and contributing so much. Amazing. And at the same time, he was like telling everybody to go and see other people's channels and pushing all the people he respects and stuff. That was really good to see too. I'm so proud of him. TikTok, I did something. 3 of them are yours, you didn't, and they're yours. Bad Mama Jama, you didn't, but I will check it. But I'm going now. But Jesus Christ, Grace Rendition. Forrest Christ wants to duel you. Oh my goodness, some dueling going on as well, and she's accepted. He's accepted. Stop it, Jamie. It's him. Frostcrest won the duel. There you go. That was quick. And the points are gone. 1,000 points. Feels good, man. Yep, feels good, man. Oh, why have I put that in there as one of the alerts? Yeah, feels good, man. Or is that somebody else that's called feels good, man? No, I think I put that in, feels good, man. Why did I do that? Well, it does feel good, man. I can't remember writing that, I think. Tradespotting, we drinking on Friday? Deal. It's a deal. There you go. Now it's signed and across the timeline, across the universe. Is it fair to say the currents are long in their followers? Are long in them? I don't know, with the emojis and combined with the sentence, I'm getting crazy thoughts. What is it fair to say the currents? That part, yeah, that's fair to say. Are long in their followers. Call options on you guys, that's for sure. If this is what we're saying, yes, it's true. We're in deep. Yeah, that's what that is all about. Yeah, gotcha. I'm on the same page now. Fair and square. Yes. You're both legends. So are you, Bad Majama. Dead Money All Stars. You have 14 points. Wow, look at that. Think of all the money you have there, Don Money All Stars. 14 points. A whole 14 points, you know. Some people will be down and out at that stage, but you're still in the game, right? You know you can recover from that position, Dead Money All Stars. Not yet. Not all is lost. If you can arrest the decline, if you can stop trading on tilt, you may yet recover. And what a glorious return that would be. I hope for you, mate. I hope you can get back there. So, right, that was awesome. I'm going to say hello, Rocky. Got a headache. Bad BMJ BD Mana. No way, it's not Bad Mama Jama's birthday. Is it Bad Mama Jama's birthday? BMJ BD Mana. Bad Mama Jama BD Mana Manana. Bad Mama Jama's birthday is tomorrow. Is that right? Oh my goodness, what's going to happen tomorrow on Bad Mama Jama's birthday? I think birthdays are important for those reasons. Frostcrest. You've got 2,838 points. Well, look at that. And Weep, Dead Money All Stars. Lol, up from 1 so far. Not bad, you're up from 1, so you've 14x your account. That's pretty good shit, mate. That's pretty good shit. Well done. Proud of you. Keep it up, 14x that, and you'll be somewhere soon. It's all about the journey, though, right? It's all about the journey. GME, this is the way. Thanks, Andy. Ape Andy. Thanks, not Ape Andy. I've just done it because you said it earlier. You shouldn't have said that earlier, right? You said that earlier, and then I said it there, and I'm blaming you, Andy A. Shout out to Ape Andy as well. Ape Andy, I love you, man. And he's so much of a reason for me getting any success, and then for me to be able to pass that on to Rocky and to him to have days like today, which were like well and truly like beyond anything I would have ever expected. That is like the blessings, yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah, so the Rocky stream like this, that happened on the day of a dip, and that speaks so highly of what is this community of, and I don't mean our community, just of every one of you guys and all the greater community that is apes. That happened on a day of a dip. This is insane. Like, to me, it's like, it speaks exclusively good things that are really good things, like, and speak really good things about the future of this people you're holding with, like, incredible, like, from my perspective. And the price is at 190 spot 40. They're doing what we thought they might do. And then yeah, so that was crazy. And then yeah, and everything you could have done for me, if you instead do it for Rocky and the people who love you your entire life and so on and so forth, then you know that's just the order of things. This is the way. Bama Jama, happy early birthday. I'm going to forget tomorrow unless you mention it again. Catty babes, I'll try and mention it so everyone remembers and can wish Baba Majama happy birthday. Happy birthday, Baba Majama. Congratulations when it comes, and another year under the belt and another great year to look forward to, as yourself truly are. And it's such a good bloke too. Love you, big man, love you. And remember to not tell anybody your wish when you blow out your candles. And if you don't have candles, go and get some. Blow out candles yourself on your own cake, and I'll be standing right there with you in spirit, blowing them out too, buddy. Yo, fannies. Chief Van Dan, Bright Spark. Chief Van Dan. Needs help in making Treasure Country musical. Wavelength, oh mama. Oh mama. Oh mama. Hi Jewel. Hi Jimmy. Do you have any commentary on the buy-sell ratio on Fidelity? I'm looking at the top orders chart and it's way more buys than sells. Well, marketing in, right? You have to market in to get this stuff. There would have been like boom, boom, really quick orders, took the price down. Now everything since has been buying, people putting their stuff on the market, it's getting accumulated. Not just a natural picture of things. I think I would have probably covered it in the TA and question and answer from failure to deliver earlier, which probably, if Case Guy's watching, he'll have marked out as some sort of a question answer, at which point you'll be able to click on it at the end of this video and go right to like the best explanation you're likely to get about that sort of thing, which I wouldn't do justice now by going over it. Also, like, I wouldn't be able to give it the time because my head's killing me and I'm about to get off, and I've got this ring light that's only just managing to keep the green screen from showing behind me. I can see the edges are starting to crackle and the light is getting darker outside, so it is time, my friends, my internet buddies. It is time. Tradespotting, looking at the 1 hour GME chart. Can we use the MACD low on June 10th to say that all these bullshit lows since then have been bullishly divergent? If you're looking for divergence on the MACD, maybe that's more representative of a long-term trend that that indicator on this asset on that time frame isn't going to give you reliable signals. And I'd say that's true. At this stage, without looking at it, I can't draw more from the analysis other than to say it's unreliable for looking at that and using it for confirmation signals on that time frame with this asset. And you'll probably have been picked up on the fact that I spend hardly any time looking at the 1 hour, and you might think like, well, he spends a bit of time on the daily and he spends a bit of time on the 4 hour, and then a lot of his time then spent on the 15 minutes and like not that much on the hourly. And when I do like an overall assessment of stuff, you'll rarely see me look at the hourly on that. So it's because on GME it's really, you don't get as good signals on stuff from what I've seen. But the 4 hour is like, it totally seems to be in line with trend. So I can't give you a better answer yet, but I will look at it and keep it in mind and maybe cover it tomorrow at the start if you like. And I'm about to go off now, so thanks. I hope today was good for everybody, and I'm going to make a clip of that stuff. I did make the clip. I'll just upload it after this, and then there'll be a shorter version for people to watch. Should have done it earlier during this, and then people would have got it and tuned in here. Oh well, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for everybody who tunes in and keeps it going. We've had, what was the number of concurrent viewers we got? 391 concurrent viewers. That's not bad. That's not bad. Chat rate 26, so that's like 3 or 4 times as high because people have got the games to play, so that's better. But the viewer number's down a little bit, and then the playback's down a little bit. Average watch time, that's only 9 minutes, so people haven't been tuning in for that long on average. Well, it was good. It was valuable information, I think. Oops. Yeah, moved that too quickly. Right, so it was valuable information, so it was good. It did a good job. We had a nice time. It was great to see everybody after Rocky's thing. People were really generous in this stream. Thanks very much for all the donations and all that stuff. Where is the chat credits? And I can roll them and thanks people personally. It's funny when Rocky was trying to do his and it was going so fast. Roll credits, does it work? Yes, and I can see them easy enough. Thanks for supporting the stream, Rocky Outcrop. Thanks for donating, Rocky. How did you donate on the... You donated with the crypto one down below then. Super chats. Daniel, thanks. Paul, thanks. Chris Gay, D. Harker, M.A. Campisi, Epiphany Jones, Rob, Grow Like the Wind, Leslie Wright, Bright Spark, Chris Creek, Supernova, Max, H. Jones, Matt, Failure to Deliver, Wave Speech, Birdbore, Edgar Pena, Bob P, Chris Sweeney, Andy A, Drew Soul. Awesome, thanks so much. And then a few new subscribers too. Awesome. Look at that, that's not bad, man. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining up and subscribing if you're still here. It's appreciated. Cheers. And then Doomslayers, the Dead Money All-Stars. Oh my god, there's all the new members. Bright Spark, Che, Dan Weld, Covent Creeper, Sweet Cakes, Baker, Real Baker is the Truth Ecker, Sugars, I missed it. Wow, I didn't realise there was so no members here as well as at Rockies. Wow, thanks. Cool, that's fucking ace, guys. Thanks. Up Denmark. Or up, what does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, Shane McGovern is saying, come on to Denmark. So I see. Oh, maybe did I answer that question politically correctly earlier? I wonder how people will react. I guess I'll find out in the comments. See you later, Jamie. Zachary Russell. Yo, Zachary. Thanks. Streamlabs. What are you saying? Frostcrest. Bleed me dry. I Stunk Puppet. Wherefore art thou? Stunk Puppet's going to be around tomorrow. The requests will have attracted its attention. Don't think I can listen to you English if we win. If yees win. I donated via PayPal using the http://streamlabs.com Tradespotting link at Tradespotting, but I typed it direct. It's cool. It's where you see leaderboard for points, etc. Oh, right, on that page. Right, which is a link in the description. You typed it direct. It's there and the link in the comments there. Thanks very much. Awesome. Thanks, Rocky. Pin message, because I don't know if I've had one of those before. I didn't see it before, and it came up at the new part of the credits, so I definitely haven't had one recently. Thanks so much. And Radu and Tyler, who've both just subscribed, thank you so much. I've been driving the last few hours safe now. FYI, no mumbles when doing 120 km miles on the JBL. If someone can't hear you, they need an ear cleaning. An ear cleaning? Ooh, there's a treat. You get your ears cleaned. Wow. I've had my ears cleaned a couple of times when I had ear blocks, and once I was in Spain, and the guy that did it did like this huge ass syringe, and the thing exploded out the side of it, and it was better than any of these YouTube videos that people put up at the minute of that stuff. I've seen loads of them at the minute. I'm like, where are the crazy dudes in Spain that do it? Because that's something I'd really like to see again, and I wouldn't really like to see it, but like, oh my goodness, it was crazy. Why am I talking about that? Yeah, no mumble in here. You'll never find no mumble in here, Jamal, because you'll look a little bit. Yo, fannies, Chief Fan. Appreciate all you do, Tradespotting. Thanks, Jeff Smith. Appreciate you and all your help, mate. Thank you so much. Cheers, Jeff Smith. I should move this over so I'm actually looking at this so it looks like I'm looking at the camera. Looks sort of more like it, doesn't it? Does it look like that? Anyway, I'm off ski. Thanks so much for everybody. Bright Spark accepts a challenge. You challenge accepted. Right, thanks. Thanks, everybody. And that's thanks, Rocky, for that. Thanks all the new members, really appreciate it. And I'll maybe put that clip up. I don't know if people find it worthwhile or not. We shall see. There's also this one and the chapters. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to have a cup of tea now though and eat something fine today. Nope. Okay. Thank you everybody. It means the world to me. You're all amazing. I love this really. Sometimes I'm like doing this stuff and I'm in the mode or whatever, and like afterwards I'm like, oh, was I feeling like, was I communicating really the depth of my feelings, and was I actually in the moment in that? And the truth is, like, sometimes maybe I'm slipping through things and I'm saying what I see, and I'm maybe not like feeling like I'm here with you and that sometimes, but the truth is I am, and when I'm not actually on the stream I do miss the whole experience and that chatting to you and that. So it's great to see you, and it was amazing with Rocky watching his stream earlier. I truly am with you, and do it all for fun at the end of the day. Thank you, Jamie and Rocky. I find everything you all do worth very much my while. Well, it's worth my while, and that's what I say when I say I find it fun. It's like, things are altruistic, but at the end of the day, like, I find it fun and cool helping you guys, and you are also fucking sound. Like, it's brilliant. Hey, anyway, I'm going to go before I get emotional. Thanks so much, and thanks for everything you do for Rocky. It means the world to me. I love all of you, and what you do for me also amazing. I'm even still live.